Good evening, my friends. This is Angie Stewart from My Inner Light, and we are here in Kardec Radio. This is Facebook Live. It's a blessing to have this beautiful technology that unites all of us in different cities, in different countries, even in different time zones, because we are live right now, but it's a blessing. It will be recorded, and we probably will have many friends that will be watching this study later on, tomorrow, or who knows, whenever they will be able to do it. So welcome. So we are here just waiting for some friends to arrive. And again, I always have issues. It's unbelievable. I really don't know what I do wrong, but I always have difficulties to see the names of our. Oops! Look, I did it again. Uh-oh. Okay. Hopefully, I'm not gonna touch anything else. I don't know what happened, but I always do something that I can't see the name of anyone logging in. Very strange. Anyway, before I forget, I want to let you know so you can also talk to your friends and you can spread the word. Since 2014, I have been doing charitable initiative called the Loving Bags for the Homeless. So we call it the Loving Bags. And this is a very simple, uh, it's a very simple program. We just get together with few friends, and each person donates one bag or one item or many items. So there is a list of 13 items that we usually put in a bag, in a gift bag, and we get together to put all these items together in many loving bags, hopefully. And this year, the event is going to happen in Miami in December 8th. It's the 2nd December of the year. We are going to actually get together in my house. We are going to put all the donations together. We are going to put all the bags together. And we are going to leave in a caravan, caravan of love, to be able to distribute these bags to our brothers and sisters who actually live on the streets. So this is a very simple and humble project. We are not expecting to change their lives. We are not expecting to make any huge modifications, but we just want to give them a little gift as like a token of love, to bring some smile in their faces, and who knows, there is a loving message in each bag, and we sincerely hope they can be touched by it and that they can find help in certain areas in Miami. This project also happens in New York City with our dear friends from Inner Enlightenment. So we just hope they can find a better situation, they can find help, and they can improve their lives. But it's just like a gift, really, to make them to feel a little bit better. And we have to remember, many times we think, oh, I'm so charitable, oh, I'm doing so many beautiful things. But in reality, we are the ones who need it more than anything. We think, oh, I'm doing such a wonderful job, but we are receiving more than what we are actually giving. We are receiving more love than what we are giving. So if the person or the persons that we will be distributing the bags are not going to be connected with that loving energy, you have to remember this person has a lot of friends, spiritual friends, and the benefactors. So whenever you do something good to a person, there are the wave or the cloud of testimonies, as Chico Xavier liked to say. the important thing that we do something. Let's do a little bit. Let's each one of us do something. If you can't donate anything, just do a prayer. Just try to do something to help. Not just this little project, but any project, anything. The important thing is that we are active. We really are able to do a little bit for somebody else. So if we are in a little bit better condition, let's try to help our friends that are not in a good condition at this moment. Okay? So my throat is so dry. As I always like to do, please, I hope you have a bottle of water or a glass of water, and we are going to do a quick prayer to start our study of tonight. It's a very heavy study. It's difficult. Today we are going to be talking about suicide. So it's very difficult to a lot of people. And we would like really to connect with our guardian, my guardian angel, your guardian angel, and also the mentor of this study. So we can have like more help. We can be protected and most of all, guided. Okay? Thank you. Dear God, our brother, Jesus, all our guardian angels, at this moment we would like to ask for your help, your guidance, your protection, inspiring all of us, inspiring me to talk about, inspiring all of you to listen, to connect, and most of all, to be able to help someone else. Please come closer to us. Give this love to us, this inspiration, and help us to touch the hearts of many people, incarnated and also discarnated. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good, my friends. It's great to be here again. Unfortunately, I have no idea what I do wrong, but I can't see the name of anyone every time I get connected. Now I'm going through this issue. I really can't see the names of the people. I really wish I could do something different. Just 1 second. Good, my friends. It's great to be here again. I don't know. I just start repeating my own voice. And if I go here, edit the publication, I don't want to edit. So very sad because I cannot see any of your comments. Maybe nobody did a comment. I just find it strange. But let me just write here testing. If anyone could write anything, if I could see, it would be awesome. I don't know. This always happens. Absolutely horrible. Anyway, let's pray it will be fixed. If you're new here, we always study this beautiful book, Among Brothers of Other Lands. And 2 weeks ago, we read and studied the chapter 11, Food for Thought. We could not finish. It's a long chapter, and it talks, the ending part talks about suicide and talks about insanity. So I thought it was a little bit heavy to finish everything in 40 minutes, and I decided it would be good to continue today to talk a little bit further about it. Woo! Woo! Some names appeared. Oh my God. That's awesome. A miracle. Okay, let me read quickly. So I see Matthew, I see Teresa, I see Saul, Alicia. Very good. I see some names. I see things up that I cannot go back, but awesome. I'm very happy to be able to see you. And Saul said that can hear me good. Awesome. Okay, so I will just read a little bit of what we read so we can continue talking about it. Okay, so the title is Food for Thought. And It was a text from the spirit André Luiz, also the author of the famous book Nosso Lar or Astral City. So the little portion I'm going to read is, we are called to work today in the disassembly of the traps of suicide and the combat of the plague of obsession, dismantling the gaps of boredom and discouragement, anguish and disbelief, through which insinuates the force of shadow against light and imbalance against the harmony that governs the existence. Let us proceed. May we stay with the faith in supreme power and the presence of the Master, who is the same eternal friend, who convincingly promised us, whoever falls will never walk in darkness. So this is the ending portion of the text that André Luiz sent to us. And you know, it's beautiful because it shows us, not just us spiritists, but it shows people in general, because we can help others. We can be the light in the life of somebody else. But how are you going to do it? Well, most of all, it's important that first we are feeling a little bit better, a little bit good, because the only way you can help somebody else is if you are doing a little bit better. When somebody is really, really bad and you are a little bit higher, you can extend your hand. You can actually see the person, because sometimes we cannot see. We are so involved in our own world, in our own problems, in our own limitations, that we get blind to anybody else. And we start thinking we are the only people suffering in the planet. What is not true. We are still in Earth, okay? Yes. So the planet Earth is still a planet of trials and expiations. Even if we are ready, you know, like crawling baby crawls to a planet of regeneration. But as Divaldo Franco said last week, we still didn't reach the bottom to start going up yet. Because as we know, lots and lots and lots of spirits that were in the umbral or lower zones of our planet, they have to reincarnate in order to empty the whole basement, if we can call it, to be able to give these spirits the last chance in this planet, because we are going to be a regeneration planet. So this is their last chance, incarnating now, or they are already incarnated, to see if they are going to be able to improve and to be able to reincarnate here. If they don't, if they continue doing bad things, bad mistakes, whenever they discarnate, they are not going to go to our planet anymore. They are going to be sent to another planet that's much inferior to the planet Earth. So this is the only way that our planet will be able to move towards the regeneration. And yes, as Divaldo said, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough, because we will be facing atrocities that we were like not used to it. Not because it never happened, but it did happen. But nowadays, with the technology, with the modernity, you know, whatever is happening in a little tiny city in the other side of the planet, in few minutes we already know in details. So we are going to be exposed to this. And as I always say, that unfortunately the media is great in exposing terrible things, unfortunately. And the media has a very hard time exposing beautiful things, beautiful initiatives, charitable acts, hope. It's very hard, because to the majority of the population, this is not what is popular. This is not what sells. You know, people get really, I can't say excited, but it becomes like a frenzy when something horrible is happening. So everybody wants to see what is that thing that's happening. The earthquake, everybody wants to see how many people died, what kind of disgrace was that. But if someone doing some kind of charitable act, it's not everybody. They like, oh, okay, Mother Teresa did something good in the past. Okay, good, let's change. Boom, boom. Yes, and imagine how many Mother Teresas are alive on Earth, doing beautiful things in different parts of the planet, but nobody's really talking about it. That's why it's so important for me and you, whenever you see something good, something beautiful, let's spread the word. Let's do it. Let's be active on it. Because if we wait for the media, that's not gonna happen. So we have to do our part. So this is one little item of spreading the light. Is you feel good in order to be able to see others that are not feeling that good. So let's talk about numbers that Chico Xavier and Valdo Vieira actually collected in between 1961 and 1963. And then I will bring you numbers of right now, of 2019. And then we can talk about many other things that we could do as a prevention, as a help initiative. So continue, if you have the book, page 47. So we have a short statistical study about suicide and insanity in the years of 1961 and 62. So, suicide. Discarnations due to suicide in 10 of the countries that show the highest level of death of this nature. Classification per annual average, taken in the most recent world statistic, according to the informational data of the demographic yearbook of 1963, from the United Nations edition, New York, 1964. So the list here shows the 10 countries. So the first country that shows is Austria, and this shows that a total of discarnations by suicide were 1,508. So they then have an item here, number of discarnations in every 100,000 inhabitants. So it's 22.4. So in general words, I'm just going to read to you the main countries. Of course, bigger countries have bigger populations, so you have to take this in count. So in this list, the number one in 1962 was actually United States of America, here, with the amount of 20,207 people. That's a huge number in 1 year. 20,000 people died in 1962. Then the number two was Japan. Japan was 16,439. Number three, Germany, 10,116. So the amounts are really big. And this is 1962. So we know that the number increased in many different countries, increased in general. We also understand it is increasing. Divaldo Franco explained this to us, explained many different items. One item is that right now, so many spirits are being reincarnated, and they are carrying their baggage from the past, their difficulties. So we know that many times a person who committed suicide in the past, they are brought to a new reincarnation, and they will have this same issue in the new reincarnation. So in one time of their lives, they will face the exact situation or very similar to the past situation that brought them to that. But yes, usually these spirits, they stayed in the spiritual realm, receiving help, receiving guidance, and they have a little bit better strength to come back and to overcome it. As we also know, those spirits, they are not just thrown back to earth, because the spirits, they know they need support. So usually they have a family that surrounds them, that will help them to go through whatever situation. But as we know, we all have free will. So it will depend on us, the final decision, what we are going to do. It's our decision. So it's very difficult. It's very painful. And the person who is thinking about suicide, it's usually very tormented, and this person is almost like in a wheel. Can I say in a wheel, or in a circle, in a very limited circle, because this person cannot see outside this circle, and whatever problem is causing that, the person only sees that. So only sees, I don't know, let's imagine unemployment, a child to take care, a mother who is sick, and this person sees all these problems, and just think it's impossible. I can't do anything. I cannot help them. I cannot help myself. And if the person doesn't have a belief, we know that whenever you have a belief, whenever you have some kind of faith, this helps you, because you will do something, you will think about God, you will pray. And if this person is a spiritist, there are many, many tools that can be used. And one of the tools is really study and knowledge. So we spiritists, we know, first of all, the main thing, there is no death. There is no death. Whatever will die will be just the physical body. So yes, I can kill this physical body, but 1 minute after I kill this physical body, this spirit will wake up. And we know also in Spiritism that whoever does this terrible act against God's law will suffer, because it will be very difficult. First of all, whatever difficulty this person is going through, when he realizes he is not dead, it's going to be terrible, because it will be tormented by the same situation. If the person don't understand of life after death, it's even worse, because it's like, it's not possible. I know I killed my body, and many times they come in the mediumistic meetings, and they still don't understand what's going on with them, and they say, I killed myself, but I see my body, but I am here talking to you. So they don't understand what's happening. I know I did something, but now I am actually talking and I am dead. So it's difficult. It's a very tormental time for the spirit. This is why it's so extremely important for all of us to pray for them. They need, more than anything, our prayers. Whenever we pray for a person who committed suicide, they receive a little bit of light, a little bit of peace, so they can calm down and they can relax. And it's very, very difficult. So the numbers I gave it to you, were numbers from 1962, and I have here, let me just go to the page. I have here this page that shows this the source is the World Health Organization, and that brings the suicide rates for 2019. So we are in October. So this is not a full year yet. We are in October. So two months, still missing two and a half months to the end of the year. So the number one country here is Lithuania. Lithuania, it's a very tiny country with a very small population. So it says here 32 people killed is the rate, but the rate is based on 100,000 people, and they have a number of 894 people until now. So you think, okay, 900 people is not that much. First of all, shouldn't be one. It's already painful to imagine this huge amount of people killing themselves in 10 months. But then we go to the number two country, that's Russia. In Russia, the number until now is 45,178. So extremely sad. 45,000 people killed themselves in Russia just in this year. Isn't that terrible? It's really something that's very shocking. And then goes to many countries. You can all access this, and when we finish, I will put these pages on my Inner Light page, so you can go further and you can access the information I'm reading to you right now. So Japan, 23,500. And then we go to a country that I was extremely surprised. India. The number is 220,481. 220,000 people killed themselves in India. Yes, I know you're going to say, but in India, there are millions of people. Yes, I know, I understand that. But what I'm talking about India is because the Hindi culture, they believe in reincarnation. This is not something new for them. They believe, so they know after this physical body dies, they will come back. And it's a little bit different, their way of understanding reincarnation there, because the Hinduism imagines or believes that you can reincarnate as an animal or even as an insect, depending on things that you did. So this was very shocking to me to see such a gigantic number of people kill themselves in India. Then another astronomical number, let me see if I can find here, was China. Yes, China, 138,482 people. So 138,000 people in China. So the numbers are huge, really very upsetting. So then I went to the same page, World Health Organization, and there are lots of important links here to help people that are actually thinking about committing suicide. And I will read you just like two paragraphs that they have here as an overview in suicide prevention. So it says, close to 800,000 people die by suicide every year. 800,000. That's one person every 40 seconds. Suicide occurs throughout life. It is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29 years old globally. Suicide occurs in all regions of the world. In fact, 79% of global suicides happen in low and middle income countries. While the link between suicide and mental disorders, in particular depression and alcohol use disorders, is well established, many suicides happen impulsively in moments of crisis. Further, risk factors include experience of loss, loneliness, discrimination, a relationship breakup, financial problems, chronic pain and illness, violence, abuse, and conflict or other humanitarian emergencies. The strongest risk for suicide is a previous suicide attempt. So there is another link that I saw here, but just because I want to really quickly, I'm not going to find it. But it was saying also that this 800,000, they were numbers of suicides, but there are also a huge number of attempts, people that actually tried, but they, thank God, they did not succeed. So these are increasing also. These numbers are increasing also. So we understand the danger of a suicide. And nowadays in our society, we have the blessings of internet, like we have right now. But we are living a very empty world at the same time. So people are isolating themselves instead of going out more. It's happening to our kids, to children nowadays, maybe because of many facts like violence. The parents are like afraid of allowing their kids to go to the streets. Like when I was a child, I used to, okay, mom, bye, I'm going to meet my friends, and I used to run, and I was not 18, I was like 11. And it was okay, it was normal, because the parents knew we would be around in the neighborhood with other kids. But nowadays, parents are very afraid of it, or parents don't really know their neighbors, because more and more and more we have this tendency of living in our own world. And many times we see a neighbor, people don't even say hello. So we can't allow this to happen. I had friends that they came here to visit me a few days ago, and I was outside just saying goodbye to them, and my neighbors are all passing, hey Angie, hey Angie, hey Angie. So they were like, wow, you are popular. And I said, no, I'm not popular. But every single person I see, I say hello, hi, how are you? And if I see the person gives me a little open, I say, hi, my name is Angie, I'm new to the neighborhood. So yes, it's good to do it. And especially here in America, people are not very used to this friendliness. Sometimes they are like, whoa, what is this? Who is this crazy lady talking to me? I don't even know her. But it doesn't matter. We have to open up. We have to say hello to our neighbors. It's very important that we know them. It's very important that we know their kids. If we have kids, they can interact together. The kids nowadays are like in the video games. They are locked themselves in their bedrooms or in the living rooms, and they're like the whole day. It's just terrible. We don't want this. We actually want the kids to experience the world, to be able to be more open, to visit other people, to have like physical contact. This is what brings happiness. This is what society is. You know, we need to live in a society. Yes, we are all different. So it's not going to be everyone that's going to be happy to see you, but we need to interject, and that's the way we also can clear our karmas, because we need to learn how to behave better. We need to try to be a little bit better. We need to say, I'm sorry. So these are things that will help us in general. And when we talk about suicide with these huge numbers, it's extremely sad, but we have also to think there are many, many ways to help. I mentioned before that we have to be good, to be able to see the pain in the others, so we can help the others. And if you see someone that's not feeling good, and if you can help, that this is awesome. You can extend your hand, you can tell the person there is always a tomorrow. Whatever she's going through, it's going to be better. And there are many tools. If you just Google suicide prevention, you will see so many hotlines. There is actually a National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and there is a 800 number. But there is many other, I believe, like ONGs or charitable organizations that also have hotlines to help people to talk to someone when they are desperate. Some people are very lonely. They don't even have a friend to talk, or they are ashamed to talk about whatever they are going through because they think this problem is too little. I don't want to talk about it. People are going to laugh off my problem. And yes, it might be little to some people that are not going through that. But it would be so good if everyone going through a problem, the little problem it is, if somebody could open up. That's a blessing whenever you are spiritist and you actually go to a spiritist center. Because every spiritist center, they have something called fraternal counseling or fraternal conversation, and where it's very private and that you can just talk to 1, 2 people, and they are not going to tell anyone about whatever you talked about, and you can open up your heart. So these are tools that we can find in internet. And there is a famous speaker from Brazil. He is a reporter. His name is André Trigueiro, and he's a strong advocate against suicide. He is a spiritist, and he actually wrote a beautiful book all about suicide, and he did a huge connection with depression, because depression is something that makes you all to go down. You start feeling that your life is not worth it, that why I'm going to continue living, there is no love for me. Even if you are spiritist and you understand that there is no death, depression brings you so down that you start thinking about all these crazy ideas. And we always talk about energy. I always like to show the energy. We are here, and here are the lower zone spirits, the ones that the Kardec calls evil spirits, because Kardec wrote the book, Spirit's book, the Gospel, in the 1800s. So this was the language. So when we are feeling bad, when we are angry, or when we are negative, when you go in depression, you lower yourself. So you connect with spirits that are in the lower zone. So you attune to them. So you start listening to them. And we always say we are all mediums. To this point, we are, because we can listen to ideas of spirits. It's not that every single person can see, can feel, can fully understand there is a spirit telling me something, but you can have this perception. So when you're down, there is a voice that starts telling you, you are not worth it. If I were you, I would really kill myself. Oh, this person, she's horrible and she will do much worse. Oh, you're not going to find a job. Oh, yes, that person is very sick. It's going to get worse. So all these negativity ideas that might not even be true start coming to you as like a wave, like a tsunami of horrible things. And who is in depression or who is alcoholized, because we know alcohol and drugs also bring you to connect with entities. So you start feeling worse and worse and worse. So it's very important that in a moment, that in a flash moment, that you understand this is not me, I need help. You actually search for help. And that's the moment that the person can call the suicide prevention hotlines, can call a friend, can go to a spirit center, can talk to someone. Even like sometimes you don't even know a person, and the person says, "Are you okay? Are you feeling okay?" And then you actually say, "No, I'm not. I need help." Because God gives us angels, gives us help in many different forms and many different shapes. So it's important for us to be able to open up. And the book of André Trigueiro, the name is Viver é a melhor opção. To live is the best option. I don't think it's translated to English yet, but there are many beautiful books and lectures about suicide prevention also in English. And the other item important here also is insanity. So discarnations by insanity in 10 countries that show the highest incident of death of this nature. Classification by annual average, taking in the most recent years of the world's statistics, according to the International Data of a Geographic Yearbook of 1963, United Nations edition, New York, 1964. So I also listed here the biggest countries affected. So we have France as number 1 with 77,000 people who actually died with insanity. So says total discarnation by insanity, senility without psychosis due to unknown or defined causes. The second country, Japan, 71,478 people. And number third, Poland, 41,603 people. We know insanity, it's a mental condition, a body condition, but we also know that it could be caused by different things. And one of the things is mediumship not fully understood or treated, and it could cause insanity too. Why I'm talking this? Because for example, let's talk about me. I am a medium since a child. As I already said many times, my parents, Catholics, they did not believe in anything of spirits. So every time I told them I was seeing a spirit, I was seeing a man, they always told me it was my imaginary friend, even if I said it was a very ugly person. And I would never like to have an adult man as my imaginary friend. But later on, when I was already an adult, and I even told my mom, the first thing she told me was, "Oh my goodness, we have to find you a psychiatrist before you move to the United States." So if your own family that you're supposed to think they have a little bit more knowledge or open-minded, they already think about it. So imagining other families that immediately bring that family member to psychiatrists and doctors, most of them, not all, thank God, we have a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists that are actually spiritists, and they are really doing this beautiful bridge between religion or faith and the medical field, and helping to help to spread the understanding of spiritism, of mediumship in the medical field. But unfortunately, most of the doctors are not open to this. They do not understand, and they immediately think this person is really having some kind of my wonderful dog, some kind of psychosis or some kind of a schizophrenia or some kind. Casper, can you please tell him to stop? And so these patients, they start becoming very heavily medicated, and every time they start talking about if they see something or if they hear something, then who knows, the family or the doctors, they can increase the dosage of whatever medication, and this is not going to help their mediumship. It's going to just drug them, make them like, ooh, but it's not going to help them. Yes, I understand that's not everybody that's a spiritist that can have this help and this understanding, but when we are open to it, we will receive help. As it happens to me, that I was not from a spiritist family, but I was able to meet friends, they had become spiritists, and they told me, no, you only have mediumship, that's it. And I was like, really? That's it? Yes. And then they brought me to a spiritist center. I started seeing lectures. I started reading lots and lots of books to understand it. And I was able to understand how I had to protect myself, to stop only connecting with lower level spirits, but also to understand how to protect myself, elevate my level of energy to be able to connect with my guardian angel or with spirits that actually wanted to help me. I didn't look here at all, but nobody asked the question. Guys, I talk without stopping. If you allow me here, I will be like talking forever. So hello, Daniela. Lucia Miranda, hello, Lucia, my friend. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday. This is a blessing. Lots and lots of great health to you. Carolina Correa, hello, Carolina. Claudia Garces, hello, my friend from Caravan of Love. It's wonderful to have you here. So let me read the last page for you. So it says, notes from the mediums Valdo Vieira and Chico Xavier. The present statistical studies about suicide and insanity consider herein as being illnesses of materialism, except to the exclusively organic cases were done for the request of the spiritual benefactors Emmanuel and André Luiz, so that we can evaluate the necessity of spreading the evangelical spiritism among the nations. Emmanuel and André Luiz conducted the surveys of the mediums in this direction in the month of July 1965 in New York, which resulted in a series of studies that show the average of deaths by suicide and insanity nowadays on Earth in all the continents is so serious and significantly high as the cases of cancer and arteriosclerosis. From these mentioned studies, we highlighted the present statistical points for a summarized presentation of the problem by showing the situation in only 10 countries. One copy of the Demographic Yearbook 1963, edited by the United Nations in New York in 1964, from which we're taking the notes above, was offered to the library of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation. So, summarizing here, because we need to go to the gospel, we understand by not just Emmanuel, the spirit of Emmanuel and the spirit of André Luiz, but we understand that whenever we will be able to spread the knowledge of Spiritism, demonstrating to us that to everybody that the mediumship is actually something normal, that most of the people, they have it in different levels, that the death is only of the body, because the spirit will be alive. So when this knowledge, I'm not saying that every person in the planet needs to be a spiritist. No, we already understand that the different types of religions, they will continue. And it's beautiful. We are all very different. So we need many different religions. But what I'm saying is that the understanding and the respect, because people are going to say, oh, you're a spiritist? No, very good. I'm Catholic. Yeah, very good. So we will be able to talk about the things that we have in common, not about things that we have in opposite directions, in divergency. But the knowledge that I just said about the life after death will actually diminish the suicide, because people will like, wow, so if I kill myself, I will wake up with the same problem. No, it's better I continue here, especially when this person understands about reincarnation, understanding that if you kill yourself now, you will have to come back and you will have to go through the same thing again. So people will stop. People will try to put a hold, to postpone, to try to understand how to exit of that situation. If you can, please read a very beautiful book called Memoirs of a Suicide. It's a very thick book, but it's a book that really talk about many different types of suicides, many people who committed suicide and who actually came to talk about it. And in this book, you can understand how was their lives, why they committed suicide, and what happened to them afterwards, because they didn't die, they were awake, and also the consequences to everyone involved, because when a person killed themselves, there are so many people involved. They are the loved ones, the family who stays, and the family suffers. The family suffers a lot. So we really need to think about this too. So us, if we are in a better situation, let's try to think of how to help somebody else going through this very, very difficult problem. And as I told you, today was not going to be an easy, breezy study, because suicide is a very tough subject, and a lot of people had family members, friends, or people who actually committed suicide. So it's very painful for all of us. But we also have to understand that God is a wonderful mother and father who is always helping us, who is always giving us another chance and guiding us in the best way possible, so we will be able to have better asserted decisions in the near future. So we need to go to the beautiful Gospel According to Spiritism. And we stopped in chapter 5, item 22. So the title is, if he had been a good man, he would have died. This is like a sentence that happens a lot, not just in the United States, but I'm from Brazil and people talk a lot about that. They say, if he was a good person, wouldn't be here, would be dead, because God always takes the good ones and the bad ones always survive, always stay. And here the Spirit Fenelon brings some sentences for us to think about it. So I don't have time to read everything, but I want to read certain items here, so you can think about it. So let me read this one here. God often gives to a spirit who is still budding on the paths of progress a longer trial than to a good spirit who, as a reward for its merit, will receive the grace of its trial being as short as possible. So whenever we think the good person who died young, it was like punished by God because they left young and they were good person. So why this good person left so young and died? So it's really, Fenelon is explaining that we have shorter sentences. Living on the planet Earth is almost like a sentence because we know it's not that easy breezy. It's beautiful. The planet is beautiful. And we have many beautiful moments, but we also know it's not a perfect time all the time, but it's important for us because we need to improve. So we will be facing difficult situations all the time. So living here, it's not easy, but most of us don't want to go early. We want to stay. We want to hang out. And like, it's difficult, but I don't want to go right now. Like Divaldo Franco said, I'm 92 years old. I will stay here for another 10 years without a problem. So yes, we want to do the same. But as the spirit of Fenelon is explaining, the ones who already don't have anything else to pay, or if he was able to clear his debt, whatever the portion of the debt is, he goes back earlier. So his trial was shortened, but we don't see that. And then he continues, consequently, whenever you use the axiom, have no doubt that you commit a blasphemy. When you say, God took this person early. So it's a blasphemy because we don't understand. We don't really know why someone goes before than somebody else. Doesn't mean that we are here because we have a lot of things to pay, that we are really bad people. It doesn't mean like this. In Spiritism, everything is so, how can I explain? There are so many conditions. It's so many issues. Every being is different than another one. So whatever I'm going through, you are not going through. And we are all fluctuating. But we are always improving. We are always improving. And this is important. Of course, we want to improve a little bit faster. That's what we want. We want to improve a little bit faster so we can go closer to the good spirits in a faster way. So people usually say, if a good man dies whose neighbor is a bad man, you rush to say, I would rather it had been him instead. You are greatly mistaken, because the one who has departed has completed his task, whereas the one who remains perhaps has not even begun. So why would you want the bad person not to have time to finish, and the other one who finished to remain in prison in the terrestrial soil? So this is what we said before. So yes, so if the bad person stayed, it's because this person still needs to go through many things. And hopefully this person will have the chance, still in this reincarnation, to better himself or herself, to see their mistakes and to actually to improve. This is the important portion. So the last sentences here, because our time is gone already, is God is just in all things. Many times what happens to be an evil and is really a blessing, but your faculties are so limited that the great whole escapes your obtuse senses. So this is true. We are very limited. We have no idea. We only see the exterior and we take our conclusions. Many times we don't even know the person and we take bad conclusions and we judge. We judge all the time. A person say one sentence you didn't like, you are already judging, and many times to the negative way. So let's give a chance Let's try to be the light in somebody else's life. If this person is very negative, is doing something wrong, let's try just to say, my friend, this is not good. Uh, whatever you can do, let me help you. Oh, I hate this, I hate that. You say, my friend, this word is really negative. Say, I dislike it. So this person starts understanding you, starts like changing. And that's what we need to do. We need to start the process of change, because we know we are not going to change the world, but we can do just a little bit to make the world around us better. So, my friends, our time arrived. I just want to say a quick prayer, and then I want to give you one announcement. So, if you can listen, okay? Dear God, beloved Master Jesus, thank you so much for another beautiful study night with us. At this moment, we would like to send this loving light to all our brothers and sisters who unfortunately committed suicide, so they can receive this as light. They can receive this as a blessing to help them to calm down, to sleep, to reconnect with their loved ones, and understanding they will have another chance to come back to earth again, and hopefully they will be stronger to take right decisions and fight for their lives. We also want to send this loving energy to all the people who at this moment are thinking about suicide, so they can meet someone that will be able to guide them, or they can take action doing something positive, even a phone call that will change their lives, and they will embrace this beautiful life, this incarnation in our beautiful blue planet. Thank you so much for your love and light all the time. So be it. So, my friends, very good, very good, very good to talk about it. Very difficult, but very important. So, what I said in the beginning was just about the charitable project called Loving Bags. So, this Loving Bags in Miami will happen in December 8th, will happen here in my house. And if you would like to participate, if you are here, please send me a message. I will be super excited to meet you and to talk about what you can do to help. If you're far away, if you cannot come here, you will be able to help too. You can donate any amount of money, or you can donate items. Nowadays we have Amazon, that's a blessing. You can even buy things on Amazon and ask these items to be delivered in my address later on. So December 8th will be the packing day, and will be also the day we'll be delivering the bags. I will post information here, but it's just very simple project. You can even do with your friends, whatever you are. It's just 13 items in one bag, and we put all the items together in many different bags in few hours, usually 2-3 hours, and then we go out in the same day distributing the bags in neighborhoods that we know we will be able to find the homeless. It's just a little tiny initiative to bring a smile to these brothers and sisters by the end of the year. Not necessarily Christmas, because in many areas, for example, in New York City, there are a lot of people that are not Catholics, and they don't even follow any kind of Christmas beliefs. But it's just like really a gift of the end of the year, to bring a smile in someone, and hopefully some kind of boost of energy to find help and to improve their lives. Thank you so much for being here with us. Hopefully you can be again in 2 weeks. Love you all. God bless you all. See you soon. Bye bye.